Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a bonus full moon lunar eclipse for the month of March tarot oracle reading. And Gemini, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign isn't Gemini, we still all have a little bit of Gemini in us. If you have your birth chart, which house is Gemini in? That's where this energy shows up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. Having said that, please be advised this is a general or collective reading, meaning that parts of it may or may not resonate with you. Just take what works for you, leave the rest. This is also a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it will be the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That would give you further clarity as to your situation now. We're going to begin with the underlying energy of the deck, and the first 2/3 of this reading will be with the tarot, and the last third will be with my oracle to clarify. And look at that, we have the Fool coming up. Now the Fool has come up twice already in this this set of readings. So the Fool is about a new starting point, the 0 point crossing point horizon. And this is talking about going on a brand new adventure, a new cycle. So the Fool starts out at the 0 point, and then he goes through 21 cards to get to the major arcana in the order, whatever order they appear. And we have, okay, so the underlying forces for this energy, for this reading, are the 3 of Hearts, which is sad. So someone's going through some heartache. But then they will, either this is a new adventure, this heartache, and you haven't gone through heartache before, or you have now recovered from heartache and you're going on a new adventure. We'll see how the reading plays out. This represents, when you look at this, it's clear, it's not good. There's three swords in this person's heart. Having said that, when you look at the heart again, you realize it's rather big in context to the size of the swords. So it's actually something, you know, like these are more like nails or pins, something you could possibly heal from. There is, the swords represent thoughts, you know, your mental intelligence, your mind, and your ability to have a discerning mind. And this is sometimes representative of, in romantic love, of having a couple with someone else's sword driven in between them. So this card can also represent gossip and harsh words. It can also speak of someone who doesn't feel that they have the freedom to say what they want to say. A heartbreaking decision has to be made quite often when this card shows up. And we have the 2 of Swords. Yes, so someone is, your energy is having to make a decision and having a difficult time making that decision. So the energy is, the 2 of Swords represents like 2 options, and that's all you feel you have, either this or that, my way or the highway, that kind of energy. It's kind of having a closed mind and just not being able to see anything but 2 options. We have, the energy is draining because this person has their feet turned out, and it's draining their energy. Also, the arms are crossed over the heart, so this is protecting the heart and not wanting to be vulnerable. You'll notice the right hand or right arm is over the left arm, and this is indicating that the logical mind wants to hold back the intuition. This person is blindfolded. That represents not being able to see clearly. It also can represent, and there's a saying, because you have eyes, you cannot see. And what that means is, you know, we can only see about 5% of the light spectrum of light. And a lot of people don't realize this. So, you know, the vast majority of what we see is a very small percentage of what there really is. And so even when you are seeing things with your eyes, quite often people will say, oh, I'll believe it when I see it. But you actually aren't seeing the whole picture because you can't. And that's why sometimes we need to go in with our third eye and use our intuition instead of just relying on logic alone. There is a new moon in the background here, which is significant. The new moon that we just had, it is in the sign of Aquarius, and it was opposed by the Leo energy, because the Aquarius energy is in the is on one side of the wheel, and right opposite of it is Leo. And so this energy was quite constant throughout from the beginning of February till almost the end. And the energy is basically about the needs. Aquarius is like the needs of the whole, like of the group. And the Leo energy opposing was the needs of the individual. So Leo is a natural born leader, but they were saying, I need to look after my own needs so that I can be a good leader. Like, how can I be a good leader if, you know, like I'm in this energy, say. And the Aquarius energy is saying, we don't care. We want you to look after the group, do what the group wants. That was the agreement, that kind of energy. And the new moon came in on the 17th. There was also on that day was the very first day of the Chinese New Year, and we moved from the year of the snake into the year of the fiery horse. And the fiery horse energy is all about adventure and new ideas, and setting very high goals and doing your best to achieve them. It's very free-spirited. Also, the energy is, in matters of love, very passionate and heartfelt. And the danger of this energy is to set goals that are so high that it is like nearly impossible to reach them in the time allotted. So you can really end up burning yourself out and not making it to the finish line, like spinning your wheels kind of energy. And also being a hothead and being impulsive. You know, the horse energy, if you've ever seen a horse get away from its rider and go for a run, they can run for miles, and all you can do is hang on when the horse is spooked and is in this energy, and you know, just until it gets tired and it runs itself out. And this can take you really far out of your way where you thought you were going to go. Impulsive action right now, like in this entire year coming up until the year of the horse is over, impulsive action will be particularly challenging to overcome. Like if you go miles and miles in the wrong direction and then you have to find your way back, it could be significant. We have the Page of Swords coming in. So finally there is some relief here. It looks like there's some sort of energy coming in. Communication. The pages would work for the king and queen and the rest of the court in the old days, and they would be you know, from families in the area that were higher society families, and they would apprentice at the castle, and their main job was to run communication back and forth between people, and also small tasks. If they were really good at it and they were still around by the time they were 21, they would be considered for knighthood if they could afford their own horse. And this is this person has a sword in their hand, and the sword does represent your mental intelligence and your ability to control your mind instead of let your mind control you. This page always reminds me of someone who's about to, you know, is about to take a swing at golf. And golf is a very mental game, and this energy is very much like it. You know, out of all the page cards, this is the only page that's not totally focused on his element. And that's because he already has the thought, he knows the thought. He's now looking away to see where the ball's going, like what direction is his thought going to take. And this represents someone who has the ability to really think outside the box and be innovative. The energy also, like with golf is a very mental sport. Like if you go out on the course and it's a beautiful day, and within the very first hole you've already ruined your score, and it's really like a really bad hole. From there, events could take you, you know, in a downward spiral, and if you let your mind control it, you could end up, you know, having a horrible day and not enjoying it and having the worst golf score either. But if you have good discipline of your mind, the next hole could be a hole in one. And so that's the kind of energy. I feel that's why a lot of politicians and business people go golfing, besides the fact that it's a beautiful way to spend, you know, the day rather than in a building, of course. But if you take, you know, 18 holes with someone, you're going to find out how they handle, you know, pressure and stress of, you know, the game, and also have the time to sit and visit a little bit, you know, that in between holes. And you can see whether this person is a good loser or a good winner, you know, that kind of energy. And so you can tell a lot about someone by the way they play golf. Like if do they throw the club, you know, in frustration? You know, how are they able to bounce back? That kind of energy. And so this energy can also represent like just a thought that you have, like an aha moment, a breath of fresh air where you're like, ah, I got it, eureka, that kind of energy. And so this is talking about the Eight of Pentacles is talking about, you know, the pentacle energy in tarot represents lifestyle. Basically, it's your health, wealth, and happiness on planet Earth. Money is, of course, a very big part of that, but you could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle that you want to live. This energy is the only card that is of the Pentacles where the person is actually working on the coin, like making a physical dollar and a coin, hammering it out there. And so this is representing your focus being on making money. And so this is the making money card. Now, either you've started a project to make money and you are on the second coin and now you have 6 to go to complete it, or you've already completed 6 and you're on the 7th and have just 1 more to complete. And it's a lucrative adventure. So the King of Pentacles shows up here. This may be, you know, the energy of the, once this energy, like there's this eureka, I've had a thought, a communication comes in, and you're hard at work on it, and it will be very affluent for you. So this is talking about the King of Pentacles is talking about someone who is very, you know, respected for having a great deal of business acumen and being successful in business in whatever realm they choose to go in. They're at the top of their game. They are, quite often, this represents people who are in the banking system, like bankers who are, you know, at the top, though. They would be someone at the top. This can represent, because of the earth, the pentacle being the element of earth, there can be a lot of real estate involved in this, and so some mortgage brokers. There could also be stock brokers. What else? Financial advisors, accountants. They would be in firms that were large and well known, and also they would be at the top somewhere. Also, there is, you know, it could be the kind of energy of someone who's a very successful entrepreneur, or the head financial advisor for a big corporation. That type of energy. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles is representing someone who's extremely busy and is multitasking. So quite often this can represent having to juggle between two extremes: work hard, play hard, home life, work life, that kind of energy. You know, and it also can represent multitasking at a very high level. Now, multitasking is a great skill to have, but you have to be careful when you're multitasking that you're not multitasking at such a high level that you have more quantity than quality, and you have to do projects over. Oh, here's my cat Stella, and her job is to sit and purr, but she's late for work. Were you sleeping? Okay. All right, you be a good girl and sit on my lap. Her job is to purr. A cat's purr brings up the vibration very high, to a healing vibration. You may not be able to hear her purring because I have a noise canceling mic on, but she's got happy feet already. And so we're in good pause here. Yeah, you're a good girl. Hey, yeah. Yeah, you're purring very beautifully. All right, so we have this gaining momentum from the multitasking. You notice that in the background there is a smaller ship and a larger one here, and the waves are getting bigger. So it's saying the more you multitask, the more you have to multitask, basically. This card says juggle your options, but never juggle your morals. And we have the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups is a card of celebration. It's not my favorite card for celebration because these people are toasting, but they're not toasting each other. They're not looking at each other. They're looking at something that they've accomplished or that has happened, basically. And when, you know, in many cultures, particularly in Europe, if you don't look someone in the eye when you're toasting, then it causes 7 years bad luck in your romantic life. And that kind of defeats the purpose because the cups generally represent romantic love. And if there is romantic love here, why is there 3 people instead of just 2? And so that's the kind of energy, you know, it's a celebration, but you know, whatever they're celebrating may not be what you would be celebrating. So now this is talking about your identity and self-image at this point. You're in the middle of having to make a decision that is potentially heartbreaking because of what's happened here. And when we have these 3 cups here, remember I said this could represent a third-party involvement in a relationship. So this could be one of the people that's in the relationship. And you know, that it just speaks for itself. We have abundance and self-worth. And so the abundance, you know, for one thing, if you can afford to golf, you are abundant. Golf is not a cheap sport. And also it's talking about really valuing your mind and valuing thinking and having strong thoughts and being able to be innovative, that kind of energy, like this a fresh air thought. And so this is like being able to see far. You know, when you're playing golf and you hit the ball, it goes a long way and the hole is like, you know, way down there. And if you imagine getting a hole in one, just by knowing where the hole is, and then, you know, okay, there's someone with a flag out there, okay, get it in the hole here. It's not as easy. Well, it is not as easy, and it doesn't look easy. And then but it is easy for some people. So the communication in early life. So this is talking about being taught to be focused on making money, and you know that money was a main priority in your household. Now that could be like in a way of you know, being taught how to use money and how it can work for you as a tool, but it also can mean about having to work on making money because it's challenging to make ends meet. And so this is about your emotional foundation here. So like the King of Pentacles represents someone that is not lacking in pentacles. So you probably have the lifestyle and the money, but you're working so hard for it, or maybe your focus is so much on that part that you don't have time for anything else, and you're always juggling, you know, juggling one pentacle over another, or one business over another, that kind of energy. And believe it or not, you can have a lot of money and still be juggling a lot of money, and having to like really juggle it, like, you know, I have to pay this off with that. Robbing Peter to pay Paul is what it's called. And then we have creativity, romance, and children. So also having to juggle your romantic life, your family life with your business life, and your creativity and how you manage to do that. We also have, this is your health, your daily routine and habits. And so it looks like there's a lot of outside entertainment here. And it could be that that's the type of energy you're in. We don't have a whole lot of information regarding the internal dynamics here, but the internal forces are what you do have control over. And it's what will keep you up at night saying, if I do this, what if they do that? If they do that, what if I do this? That kind of energy. So it's kind of always being caught in a thinking loop. And then we have the external forces coming in. And so the external force is the universe and God himself coming in, rewarding you for staying on your designated path. So this is implying that if there is cheating happening in this relationship, it was your partner that was doing it, not you. And because you're staying on your destined path, and God is rewarding you with abundant amount of pentacles of a real good lifestyle. But it looks like after this, whatever this is, it's either coming in after this is resolved here, that we start off at the beginning. Whatever this heartbreaking decision has to be made so that you can go on another adventure is what it looks like. And yeah, then there is ultimate fulfillment. And you notice here we have like the the 10 of Cups is like ultimate fulfillment in a perfectly imperfect world. So, you know, you love your partner and they love you and you have 2 beautiful children and you have the home and you have the area you want to be in and you have a really awesome career and you enjoy your co-workers, you enjoy your clients, you enjoy going to work and you enjoy coming home, that kind of energy. So this is ultimate fulfillment in a perfectly imperfect world. And then we have, okay, there was a transition. The transition, this energy is being left out in the cold and only having half of what you should have. Now this sometimes can represent divorce because, you know, when you get divorced, you have to divide your assets. Also, there's a cold energy here, like the love is gone kind of energy, being isolated, being, you know, feeling a bit like a black sheep or being in an energy. Sometimes it can feel like sticking out like a sore thumb, that kind of energy, something that and it quite often can represent tactics that have been used to put you in this place. Now we have that eclipse energy also that was on February 17th. And that eclipse energy is kind of representing the difference here between, you know, this lifestyle and this lifestyle. It's, you know, pretty clear here. It's not, you know, you've been hard at work and everything, but this is, so this card is in the position of transition. And so this is representing like when on the 17th we had a solar eclipse, which meant for a short time the moon blocks out the sun. And so there's a lot of hidden elements here. And so the reasons why you are out in, you know, like out in the cold here and isolated from business and everything is generally because of tactics. So that's represented by the snowflakes. There's a lot of snow here. You know, when it starts to snow, at first it's pretty, but after a while, if it won't stop, a month and later, and then a month after that, and a month after that of snow, having to shovel it and all that, you know, just you know, getting to work and slippery roads and all of that kind of energy, it wears you down after a while. And you know, anyone can handle a flake or two, but when there's too many flakes, then it can collapse your roof in. And so these people are, you know, this one's wearing bare feet out in the cold, in the snow, and this one is on crutches. And he's got a bell around the neck here, and the bell is to inform people that he has the plague. So when he comes into the village, people can hear him coming and run to get out of his way. And he's forced to wear this bell. And the energy is, you know, of course, if you're wearing a bell like that, the chances of you applying for work and getting a job are probably not that good. So this can represent tactics that have put you here, things outside of your control that have now left you out in the cold. This is like isolation and not feeling like you're, you know, that you're part of society also. Excuse me, as soon as this card came in, I'm losing my voice. This energy is talking also about these two people collaborating with each other. Even though neither one has very much, they're collaborating with each other to empower each other to be able to survive this. we have this energy of the Knight of Swords coming in. So the Knight of Swords, as I said, you know, that impulsive energy, this card represents that energy. The Knight of Swords is either running from something or running to something. We can only see half his sword. So it's saying like it's half the information basically, and we can't see the point of it. So what's the point? Get to the point kind of energy. He's bringing information in, or running, like he's either running to or running from something. And he's running through barren land against the wind. So it's kind of like an energy of almost desperation, or fools rushing in. You know, he only has half the story, yet he's going to deliver it. And he's really, look, even his horse is stressed out. So that's the energy of the impulsive fire horse energy that really is not the most beneficial. We have Justice coming in, and Justice is talking about you know, redemption from karma as well as justice. So this veil behind her represents the veil between the physical and the spiritual realm, and that justice comes in from the spiritual realm and it comes down then into the physical. She's got her sword in her right hand and she's ready to wield it, and the tip of her foot is picking out from, her right foot is peeking out from underneath this robe. This is showing like she's ready to get up and go in a moment's notice. She's ready to take action and wield that sword of justice. All right, and then we have, okay, we have this energy coming in of the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups represents past energy and reconciliation. We do have a retrograde for Mercury. And so Mercury Mercury rules the energy of Virgo, and I'm trying to remember, it'll come to me in a minute here. This energy is about communication. And so Mercury, when it's in retrograde, it is famous for causing problems with communication and also technology issues. For instance, right now today I'm doing this reading late. I was wanting to have this done before noon, and I'm in the middle of it right now, and it's already 3:15. And a big part of that reason is because for the last 3 days I was dealing with a weird beeping noise throughout my condo, and I could not find the source of it. And anyone who I asked in the building that would be able to empower me didn't have a clue about it. And you know, I knew it was coming from my HVAC system, but when I phoned about that, they were saying, oh, you know, I've never heard of beeping coming from a split system. And I'm like, oh, so this is a long drawn out process, having to call the strata, the property manager, trying to find out, because I needed, like, this beeping was going on for 3 days and nights, and it would just every hour or so, beep, 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 and it was just, oh. And it almost sounded like it was coming from someone's alarm or something. So it was like, is this even in my unit, or is this the unit above or below me? Because the the style of this building, the sound travels vertically. And so, you know, I got it fixed yesterday, yay. And it's quit beeping. And the minute the guy walked out, my fire alarm, my smoke alarm started to chirp. And I was like, oh, it was just that kind of energy. And so I'm getting communication from my technology. And there was actually, I ended up calling the manufacturer of my unit, like, and to find out for myself from the horse's mouth. And they said, oh yeah, no, it will beep when it has, like, you know, it could be a serious problem. You need to look after it right away. The guy that came here to fix it was awesome. And then when he left, the smoke alarm started chirping, and I was like, oh, it's going to be that kind of a month, you know. And we went into the retrograde, Mercury in retrograde yesterday. So, yeah, I apologize for this being late for you, Gemini. I meant to have this out for you by noon. But shift happens. So this is just an example of that type of energy, and just trying to reach everybody and nobody knew, like, what are you talking about? No, we've never heard of this. And then, God bless her, someone from the unit, from the Strata Council heard about it and sent me an email and said, oh no, there's a button in the unit and you need to, you know, it's a reset from the factory that happened. And I was like, oh, Thank you. And so I got that message 5 minutes before the person that came to look after it was here. And it was easily fixed. We cleaned the filters and put it back together, and yahoo, I can sleep again. Part of the reason was I fell asleep and I missed the alarm. I was so tired because I could not for the life of me fall asleep with that beeping on the hour every hour. It was like an alarm clock. It was that, like that kind of energy. So this reconciliation energy can represent a need for forgiveness, and definitely this is some sort of form of forgiveness. The reconciliation implies that there needs to be forgiveness, and that would be the first step on the path to reconciliation. But just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you want to hang out with them or have anything to do with them. You could forgive someone and never speak to them again, or not even tell them you forgave them. But you do the forgiving so that you don't carry the energy yourself. And so this is this card can talk about someone from the past coming in. It's very common when Mercury is in retrograde, and it will be in retrograde from the 26th till about the 20th of March. The 26th of February to the 20th of March. And so this energy is just, it can be a little bit frustrating, but it's a really good time for, looking at the past and seeing, okay, how did I get left out in the cold? What can I do differently next time? What can I learn from this situation? That kind of energy. And so if you use it in that way to make plans and doing research as I did, and then finally, coming to the conclusion that solves the problem kind of energy. And so this is a good time to do that research. Being impulsive is not going to benefit you at this time. The energy just does not support it at all. And so the reconciliation here, this is, at first when we see this, this can be, this looks like two children playing and someone watching over them, and they're playing with these potted flowers. But when you look closer, you realize there's a lot of illusions in this card, because these are not children. This is a gnome, and this is a small woman. And when you look at her from one direction, she's got a young face, but if you look at her from the other, she's an old hag, and she's looking away. Now this is talking about your ability to say, not be a people pleaser and say no to people if it's not beneficial for you. This young person is like, oh yes, and he's, trying to hand her these flowers. She's got a mitt on her hand. She does not want to get her hands dirty, but she's still engaging. And the old hag is like, let's get out of here. Like, there's no way I'm taking this cup of flowers from him. They're not even his. That kind of energy. And we have, in the flower pots are all these white flowers, and these white flowers represent innocence in tarot. White flowers, and they're very pretty. They're trumpet shaped, and this plant is actually from the nightshade family. It's Datura, and it's a very beautiful plant, but it is very dangerous to ingest it in large quantities. It could make you really, really ill. And so it's not as innocent as it looks. Sometimes also shamans will use it. Some shamans use it for producing visions in ceremony. They know the right amount to make, because it's very, as I said, you can become very ill from it. You would never let children play with this plant or, have it around pets. But they're not children after all. But the person that's watching over them is actually walking away down the path. So it's just like, okay, nothing. This can represent your childhood, that there was a lot of illusions in your childhood, that things weren't quite the way they seemed kind of energy. And that there might be like hidden aspects to your childhood that we don't know about. And of course, a lot of us are in that position because we can't remember, like when we were a baby, most of us for sure. Just trying to make sure I've got this lined up, not too high up, not too low down. Because it's a hit and miss sometimes with getting this. This is actually quite a big spread, so it sometimes it gets cut off. And so we have the energy here of competition. So the competition is immature competition. This is my Mean Girls card. These are a bunch of adolescents fighting together. And one of them is just sort of standing back and watching. But this energy is, I call it my Mean Girls card, because it's, if you think about narcissistic cheerleaders who have to win. And this energy is, you know, they can see the other team did things better than them, but they still want to win, even if they don't deserve to. They want the medal, they want the trophy. And if they don't succeed, then their mothers will. So it's kind of like an immature competition energy where you don't use the competition to learn from it. Instead of you know, learning from the competition and watching what they do to become better at what, you know, so that you can win. It's the energy of, you know, complaining and dirty tactics to win. So it's just saying that you haven't realized yet that when you're in competition, even if there's a team energy or whatever, it's, you know, like golf. You have to do your best and then be a team player. And if every team player does that and the team comes together as a team, then your chances of winning are going to be much higher. And then we have the, okay, so this is the reading up to this point. It's still not very clear to me what, you know, I mean, yeah, there's some energy that we can see is, you know, you want justice, and it might be from your past, and it might be about the competition, and you don't have all the energy. The external forces are the EFs, because it's like you're not asking what if this happens, you're asking what the EF happened. It's that kind of energy. And, you know, is this being left out in the cold, the energy that you're in now, and that's why you're here to begin with? Or were you here and you got on a new journey wanting to have this and ended up with that? Like, it's just hard to say what's going on here. So I'm going to clarify this. You know, we haven't even talked yet about the energy of the eclipse coming up on March 3rd. So I'll just cover that so that if you want to leave off at this point, you'll have that information. So on March 3rd, we're going to have another moon. And this is going to be a full moon in the sign of Virgo. So Virgo energy is about getting your ducks in a row, getting everything lined up the way you want it lined up. Being, you know, like cleanliness is next to godliness. This is talking about lining up your environment, your domestic lifestyle, so that it matches your work life, so that you're supported in what you do. And so you're not just supporting your domestic life with your work life, but your domestic life is supporting your work life. And Virgo energy, very analytical, analytical critique, very, very good at that. But sometimes the problem with the Virgo energy is that it doesn't know when to draw the line. And there's a fine line between analytical critique and anal criticism. And sometimes this can end up being an energy where, you know, you start with yourself first and you're beating yourself up for not knowing, you know, how to do things and getting in this energy instead of this energy because of it, and being impulsive instead of patient, and not receiving the justice, and reconciling with people from your past and then really regretting it later. It's that kind of energy. So we're going to clarify this now. The thing is about this eclipse coming in is it's a lunar eclipse. And so this means that the sun actually blocks out the moon, so that the rest of the information is probably going to be coming in. And the thing about eclipse season is that when we have an eclipse, it can mean that we become very hyper-focused on the weakest area of our life, and we start like really, you know, putting energy into that to, you know, fix it, to straighten things out, which is really good. But at the same time, you have to recognize if you're hyper-focused on one area of your life, you're not going to have the full picture, and you need to make sure you do have the full picture before you actually make judgments, you know, and take action. And just being aware of that, and you'll be able to take more powerful action because the weakest area is now stronger. But you need to do your research in that, and this is the perfect time for that. Rather than making the decision, if you can avoid making the decision or signing the contract, that kind of energy, then until like you have the full, like you want to have the full story basically. And the interesting energy is, like, I started this oracle back in 2007, and when I was looking into the eclipse energy, it was like on March 3rd of 2007, there was a very similar, like almost identical alignment, in astrological alignment. And it's kind of like, if you look back at that time, it may give you a lot of foresight as to, oh, this is what the energy is really about. You may notice when you look back, like for me, I started this oracle in March of 2007, and here I am now finishing it. So it's that kind of energy. You can get some information from going back. Also, I had, I'm just going to finish telling you about this, and then we'll continue with the reading. I just want to say, if you're getting off now, please do give it a like and comment. I really appreciate it. It helps me build my channel. Consider subscribing. You're more than welcome. And for those of you that want to stay and have it clarified, I'm just going to explain this deck. As I said, I started it in 2007. There were 64 paintings. I'm an artist, so I worked on these paintings. It's from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. And in 2020, I completed the last painting. I've had the cards printed out in different variations throughout the years, but it wasn't complete. So now it's complete. The energy is quite different in the deck. And I'm now working with it just to print it out. My goal is to get it printed out and then have the information that goes with it. And what better way than you have to play with an oracle to be able to see how it works when it's in action. And it's been a lot of fun. I'm learning a lot right now with all of you, so I thank you for your time and energy. I will, in the description box below, put the numbers of the cards. They represent the paintings the way they are lined up in my gallery. And on my website, talesfromthevector.com, I will have the information in the description box below and list them in the order they appear here, so you know which ones to look for. They say a painting or an image can say 1,000 words, so it may bring some good information to you. So also, when I was looking into this, there is 2 other dates or time periods where the energy was similar to this, but not as exact as on March 3rd of 2007. In 1980, if you think that far back, some of you may not have even been born yet. You might have just been a twinkle in your father's eye kind of energy. But you could look back what was going on in your parents' life if you weren't born yet, and what was going on in the world kind of energy, and that might give you some sort of information. And we also have in 1988. So in 1980, for me, when I looked back, that's when I went on a backpack trip to Australia, and I was planning to be there for 4 months, and I ended up staying for 1.5 years. Back then, the visas were much easier to deal with, and you could just leave the country and come back in after 9 months. And you would be able to get to stay another 9 months. And it was just like, you were allowed to work like part-time basically. So I was able to make enough money to keep staying. And I loved Australia and I did not want to leave. So I went to Bali, Indonesia, and then came back after I think 2.5 weeks. And I was able to stay for another 9 months. And I loved it. I loved Australia. I saw quite a bit of it because I was there for 1.5 years. And I also got my scuba diving ticket, saw the Barrier Reef, which is one of the wonders of the world. And it was just a real beautiful adventure. And after that, then, I spent most of that decade in the 80s of, working 2 or 3 jobs. And then when I had enough money, I would go visit another country. And I did this pretty much throughout, for a good 8 years anyway. And it was a totally life-changing experience going to Australia, because I realized like that, I want to see more of the world, right? And see all the different cultures, and I really enjoy that. And so then in 1988 was when it would have been my last single year basically. And by 1990, I was married and had a baby. So, it was a big change. And so that's the kind of changes I'm talking about. So these eclipses, the energy of them comes in, and, it's there for a good 6 months basically. So it brings in significant change, but it's not necessarily like a real sudden change. It's more like very subtle, and it creeps up on you kind of energy. And so that's what we're looking into right now. And so if you look back, what was going on for you, put it in the comment box below. I'd love to hear from you and see what it is. So we have deception on this card first coming in. So deception, kiss me good. There definitely was some sort of energy. Like this card here is representing your commitment, partnerships, and marriage. And so there definitely was some sort of energy here that you know, you want, this is what you wanted, but this is basically what you had, a bunch of gossip because your partner was deceiving you in some way, juggling morals, and there was a third party, and maybe one of these people celebrating is that person. This left you out in the cold. This is a transition. So you thought you had this and you ended up with this, and this energy is like you couldn't figure out how could this have happened, and you didn't even like see it coming. You only had half the information, and you want justice, and it has to do with your past. Some sort of, this could be like someone that you were with since you were, you know, in high school or something like that, or it could be you know, from your childhood, how you approach life basically. And this energy here is talking about the competition. You know, there was a lot of competition, and you were in a competition that you didn't even know you were in. That's the kind of energy. So, you know, that's why you were so confused basically, is what was going on, and you knew something was going on. The thing is here that you needed to use your intuition to be able to see the full picture. That's the energy I'm picking up. And then there was a tower. So your partner got caught, and you know, maybe the way it happened was really, really challenging. A lot of harsh words. There was a lot of gossip. Then you found out maybe that it was your good friend that was cheating, or a family member, God forbid, but that happens also. And so this tower is a reality check where you cannot ignore it anymore. You know, at first the universe whispers to us, hey, you might want to look into that. And then the next thing you know, it's kind of like, you know, the frying pan treatment, whack on the head. And you're like, yeah, I'll take care of that tomorrow kind of energy. But you don't. And then, you know, you have to have the tower hit. So like you have to pay attention. And this is the hermit energy then. So the hermit goes up to the top of the mountain after having a dark night of the soul, when something really, really challenging shows up like this. And the hermit goes up to isolate themselves so that they can take time with God and find answers as to how do I move forward out of this situation and heal from it. And this is like when the lantern is full of the energy of the north, the light of the North Star, which is your guiding light. Then you come down from the mountain and you implement that energy. The Emperor energy is talking about performance. And so this is about being in an energy where you have now you have the idea of how to move forward and how to get out of this situation, how to heal from this situation. This is going to require strength and courage and a lot of hard work. I think it has to do with how you were raised, and maybe something that happened in your childhood that is causing you to choose lovers that are maybe not the best option for you. We have the High Priestess. So yes, that's saying that you need to, this is about your emotional foundation. So you need to use your intuition as well as your logic to be able to come to this. And the Wheel of Fortune is turning. So this is talking, that this is a new journey you're going on once you have this figured out and you do the work to heal from it. And that causes you to be on a new adventure. This is once the hangman hangs from the tree of knowledge until they're balanced. And this is talking about, okay, going inward and hanging from the tree of knowledge. And the hangman hangs upside down so that they can get that, you know, get a new view, a new perspective. And what better way than hanging upside down from a totally opposite viewpoint. And because you do that, then God and the universe orchestrate a reward coming in for you. And this is talking about letting go of this karmic space of the need to be right. So would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? That's the energy, because this is saying you do have an opportunity to heal from this and be in this energy that you want with a loving partner. And it's going to require you healing your heart, because you don't want to be sitting there and be angry for the rest of your life. And like some people do, they'll stay in an energy like that. But this is actually talking about the energy of moving forward in a better way. And we have the Fool here on a new journey. So this is talking about now, what do you need to do? The external forces coming in, and first of all, you have to acknowledge that this is happening. So what I don't know won't hurt me. Yeah, you want to get out of the denial energy. And this is about feeling like you've been like left out of the circle, and you have, because I feel like this card is representing that a lot of the people that you considered were in your inner circle, that were friends, were actually frenemies, and maybe one of them, or even more than one of them, was cheating with your partner, and they were like catfishing you and saying, oh, if you'd say, I think, he might be cheating, and they, oh no, he wouldn't do that. And then they're all laughing after, like, oh my gosh, she's so stupid, or he's so stupid, and here we are. Why can't they see it? Well, it's because of ego. And so these people have a huge ego. And it's also the energy that they're in is, this card says, like a bat out of hell, keep your ego in check. So these people think they're infallible, and what they're doing is funny for some reason. But that's because some people who really lack confidence, their ego will tell them, okay, if I put other people down, then I'll feel better about myself, instead of just doing what they need to do to feel better about themselves. So this energy comes in, and there's mother's worry. And so, yeah, I have a feeling your mother maybe has been saying to you, I think there's something going on here, and you don't want to hear it, This also can represent the energy on the planet. There's a lot of weird energy on the planet right now. And so this energy is talking, about things not being the way that you think they are. And the Gemini energy is like the third sign. So your energy is like someone going to kindergarten and for the first time recognizing, you know what? Our family is very different from the other kids' family here. The other kids' families do things like this, and our family does things like that. It's that kind of energy where you realize for the first time, hey, there's people here that live very differently from us. And then we have the Earth Star. So I just feel that you'll be able to manifest what you want in a better way, which is this. Once you face what's going on and really look at it, and then have the justice coming in. And the justice can be just as simple as you saying to these people, yeah, you can have them. And moving on and manifesting at a very high level. That's what the Earth Star is about, manifesting at a high level. And we have the Hierophant. So this is coming in. This is about traditional structure. And I feel once you, the traditional structure is the energy from the spiritual realm, the justice being brought in. So it's kind of, sometimes justice is as simple as, what do they say? The best revenge is living well. And this is talking about this new energy going into this energy of viewing the world in a different place, learning from the competition, learning from this experience. We have both Neptune and Saturn in the energy right now, sitting in Aries energy, and that is like a really, Saturn moved in there just like about a week ago, and this is about having to face these responsibilities, and it's heavy energy, and a lot of people are going through it, and it takes Saturn like 28 to 29 years basically going around to do a rotation. And so it affects people generally around the age of 28. Anything that you don't have cleaned up, you're getting ready for a new cycle, it can be some very heavy energy. And in your case, it's going to be around learning about other, you know, how indifferent people can be, basically, like that kind of energy. And, you know, learning that, you know, how it's digging really deep. And also the Pisces energy ruled the planet Neptune, and that's another big planet that has a heavy influence. And Neptune was in the sign of Pisces for 14 years, and now it's moved into the sign of Aries. So it's saying everything, you know, it's very much representing that Gemini energy with, you know, two people, the twins, you know, one looking in either direction and then trying to communicate with each other what their experience is. So this is talking about Neptune, which is very idealistic and was in Pisces for the last 14 years. Being more idealistic, oh, things will work out, and I'm going to give this person another chance, and, you know, like kind of being more of in a dreamy state. And now, bang, you're in Aries energy, and it's a newborn baby that like needs its needs met and is loud, and I want my needs met, that kind of energy. And so this is what's playing out for you. And for the next 14 years, Neptune is going to be in that energy. So it's talking about adjusting as soon as you can to this new energy so that you can get back to here. And I feel like that's what you're in the process of doing. So if you're in that energy right now, chill out. Don't do impulsive things that you'll regret later. And just understand that this too shall pass. This is an energy of using this energy to learn from it. And then once you have that information, when you move in, I'm getting that someone new is going to come into your life, and you'll be in a much better position to move forward. All right, Gemini, I do hope you receive some benefit from this reading. Please do give it a like and a comment if you have. And I will also consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy of the channel. I would be honored if you did so. I will be back with another astrological insight for you for mid-March. Bye for now.